Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chase. This is Dueling Park News, and welcome to the Lost Continent. So I'm going to be doing something a little bit different today. We're over here at one of the original islands for Islands of Adventure. Now, in recent news, we've just learned that Universal has filed permits to basically replace the Lost Continent. So back in 1999, Islands of Adventure opened with this famous island, also known as the Lost Continent. It held the attractions of Poseidon's Fury, Dueling Dragons, hint hint, this channel's name, and the Sinbad show, The Voyage of Sinbad. So when Lost Continent first opened back in 1999 with Islands of Adventure, there were three main areas. You had the Greek tales over here with Mythos and Poseidon's Fury. You had the Arabian Square, which held your Voyage of Sinbad show and a bunch of market food and different little market trinket items. And then it ended in Merlinwood, which later became Harry Potter. But in Merlinwood, well, that's where we get this famous channel name and t-shirt from. It held the Great Dueling Dragons roller coaster. I'm walking out here today because I like to document a few of the things here before the inevitable walls show up. So, looking at a rumored timeline, we could be seeing walls come up as early as February now that those permits have been filed. And this is just all rumors based on, what I've seen from social media, but the permits are secured, they're filed. So it's going to happen whether we like it or not. I'm standing over here at what used to be the Voyage of Sinbad, and the entrance was right here. So this was a show that ran for a while. It started with the island itself, but then later in life, they kind of stopped it. I'll have to fact check when the last showing of the Voyage of Sinbad was, but as of now, it's just an empty hull of a stage show, and all the props and everything is still down there. But I'm not here to talk about what Lost Continent was, what it ended up being, and what it is now. Everyone knows that Lost Continent kind of had a troubled history, especially when the Wizarding World was built, and now we know that it's about to be replaced. Now, there has been three big rumors of what could replace the Lost Continent. Those rumors have always been circulating, well, at least one of them has been circulating for a long time, as long as I can remember. I remember hearing about it in middle school, like after Potter was built, but that is Zelda. Now, while Zelda could be a really good fit for this area, I don't believe Zelda will be coming here. As seen in Epic Universe, there's a lot of Zelda merchandise over in Super Nintendo World. The outdoor shop right outside the portal for Super Nintendo World holds a lot of those, I guess you call it the pixel graphics. They've got a lot of pixelated art of Zelda in there too, as well as a stained glass piece of Zelda, or at least the bad guy or somebody. I don't know, I never played the Zelda games, I'm a bad fan. And let me remind you, it's Super Nintendo World, not Super Mario World. Therefore, any Nintendo property could really fit over there. Yeah, it's mainly Mario, the whole Mario Donkey Kong land over there too, but Super Nintendo World, not Super Mario. So a portal for Zelda as an expansion to Super Nintendo World sounds more likely than an island over here at Islands of Adventure, at least to me. We are currently standing in the Arabian Nights Square, where, as you can see, there's markets and shops, and some of them are really famous. Like, everyone loves this Desert Kebab House. They've got some really good kebabs. As well as, if we keep walking over here, we'll come across another place that everyone really likes. Side note, here's one of the famous shops that used to hold a bunch of Dueling Dragons merch in here when Dueling Dragons basically ended its life with, Harry Potter. But now it's been donned with How to Train Your Dragon, since they had a little promo over here for the summer. And they still have How to Train Your Dragon merch, as well as items from the Isle of Berk over at Epic Universe. And here's the other spot I mentioned that everyone likes. The zingers over here, which is the spicy tenders at Fire Eater's Grill, are so good. You should get them before they're gone. And check it out. I'm circling back over here to Poseidon's Fury. And they've already got a construction wall up right here. That's crazy. I don't think this was here yesterday. This can't be for the construction already, right? Could this be? I guess. I don't know what else they'd be doing over here. Poseidon's Fury's been empty for a while now. Pretty much the only thing to do is to eat at the little shops and Mythos over here in front of the Trident. But how about that? Our first construction wall. I'm sorry, I am at a loss of words right now. I came over here to talk about the permit and the possible rumors for Lost Continent, and there's already a construction wall up over here beside Poseidon's Fury. Well, this is crazy. I guess I can just come over here and talk about the other possible rumors. Now, one rumor that has been circulating online is One Piece, the anime with the pirate boy. I haven't watched One Piece either, so I can't get too much into that IP itself, but I know that it had a very successful launch over at FanFest nights at Universal Studios Hollywood. And that's not to say One Piece wouldn't sell for, a land over here. One Piece might have a better job at taking over Toon Lagoon, in my opinion, especially being that that's a whole water park area, basically. One Piece is a bunch of, pirates out on the ocean, so island hopping, really, I guess. I feel like that'd be a better fit. And another side note is, in the permits, it's speculated that Mythos will be left untouched from demolition. Now, what that means per se, I have no idea. However, I will say that I think it's meaning that the building itself, the restaurant, will remain just as is. But when the eventual time comes for a retheme to the next IP that's going to replace it, I assume IP, because we're all IP heavy, it'll get its makeover. So I had assumed that walls would come up around Sinbad and Poseidon's Fury, which we obviously just saw all the way over there beside the entrance to Poseidon's Fury, and it would come all the way as close to Mythos, but they would leave Mythos open so that way it can remain a very nice restaurant for all the park guests. Because if you have never eaten at Mythos, now is the time to go. Mythos is amazing. The inside is beautiful. The food is spectacular. The drinks are phenomenal. I mean, it's a true themed restaurant for Lost Continent. I'm gonna miss these little trails beside Mythos too. They take you to the lagoon so you can see all the other islands. Maybe they'll remain intact and get a nice little retheme too. So the last IP rumor that is said to come over here and replace Lost Continent is Pokemon. Pokemon has been speculated for a while now, especially on social media. A lot of insiders posting, is Pokemon coming to Universal? Well, originally a lot of those rumors stated that it would be going and replacing The Simpsons at Universal Studios Florida on that side. However, it's starting to really sound like it's coming over here to Lost Continent. And I say that because Universal is getting their new coaster, which we'll be documenting too. Rip Ride Rocket's being demolished, so they're getting a new coaster over there. Speculated to be, New York Drift now, not Ghostbusters. And when that comes over there, it's almost like Universal really wants something to take place over here. And with Epic open, they really need a lot of pool now. And to me, Pokemon, between Zelda, One Piece, and Pokemon would make the most sense. It doesn't really fit the whole book theme, but it would be the biggest IP other than Zelda, per se. And remember, Zelda would be a better fit at Epic, being that there's already merchandise over there for Zelda, and it's Nintendo World over there. Sorry that I'm pacing back and forth. I'm just so whoa. I'm my mind is blown right now that there's already a construction wall up, and I didn't even know about it until right now. But yeah, I'm thinking Pokemon right here. If One Piece comes in any way, form, show, attraction, whatever, I think Toon Lagoon would probably want that. Toon Lagoon was already kind of dated when Islands of Adventure first opened. I don't know many kids. I'm a 90s kid, and I didn't really watch Popeye or Betty Boop. It was only through pop culture references that I knew who really those characters were. And since Universal Studios Japan has basically an overlay show for their water world with one piece, all I'm saying is there's an empty amphitheater over there beside Toon Lagoon that could really house that, if they were to ever copy that show and bring it over here. So yeah, the signs really point to Pokemon for me. You know, they want a heavy IP to pull from Epic to bring over here to Islands. They're basically beefing up Universal Studios, and now they need something to really replace Lost Continent that's going to be heavily driven by park guests. And to me, Pokemon, of those three rumors, Pokemon would make the most sense. I'm sorry, I gotta come back over here and just get another video of these construction walls because, I mean, yeah, it's a small construction wall. May not even be for the demolition, but it's one here regardless. And with everything going on right now, heck, we could really see demolition happening sooner or later than sooner or later than whatever. I'm so baffled right now, I literally can't even speak. Lost Continent is closing, so I wore an appropriate shirt today because I felt like, you know, hey, I really miss Dueling Dragons. I'm gonna really miss Lost Continent. Well, that's gonna end it for my speculation video with the Lost Continent construction. Now it's time to head over to the next speculation over in Jurassic Park. See you in the next video.